Hello everyone, I am Dave Francis Panoncia. How are you all doing today? Before my groupmates and I would discuss our topic, which is the existentialist and post-existentialist tradition, I would first like to give an overview about the basis of our topic, which is the book called Approaches to Morality. The main purpose of this book is to present the principal ideas and issues in the area of ethics offered by philosophers from classical to contemporary times. This is the third book in a 3-volume series devoted to basic subject matters of philosophy. The first 2 volumes dealt respectively with the philosophy of man and metaphysics. In metaphysics, certain fundamental themes relevant to all aspects of the philosophical enterprise were discussed. These themes centered on the basic question of what is to be or to exist. Involved in being were such realities as causality, change, and contingency. And the foundation of being was seen to be the existence of God. The Philosophy of Man volume treated such central issues for man as the question of his unity in being, his spiritual nature, his destiny, and the character of his knowledge. These 2 philosophical sciences are called speculative branches of philosophy because their main thrust is toward finding true and satisfactory answers to the question they raise. What is to be in metaphysics, and what is to be a man in philosophy of man? Although the conclusions of speculative sciences will have an indirect effect on the conduct of a man, they do not immediately set themselves to determine what being or what man should be. Ethics is a practical philosophical study that seeks to find some principle of order for those human actions for which we are freely responsible and over which we have rational control. The philosophers presented in this book have furnished explicit analysis of moral choices. In keeping with the plan of this series, these analyses reflect a pluralistic approach to morality. However, even with the differences that do exist, certain similarities appear in the key positions. Now, what are these key positions? They are the key ethical issues, and I will be discussing them one by one. So the first key topic to be discussed in ethics is the theory of value. Value is sometimes defined as the object of human desire and striving. It is the basic and fundamental beliefs that guide or motivate attitudes or actions and help us to determine what is important to us. The technical name for a theory of value is axiology. The second is obligation. Obligation is the claim made upon us by reason that some things are to be done and deserve praise, whereas others are to be avoided and deserve blame. It is clearly related to the notions of responsibility and freedom. We are responsible for actions when we are ready to account for them to ourselves or to others. The technical name for the part that deals with obligation is called deontology. The third one is the natural law. The natural law theory states that man himself is capable of setting up a standard of morality based on his own nature. Human beings possess intrinsic values that govern their reasoning and behavior. Natural law maintains that rules of right and wrong are inherent in people and are not created by society or court judges. A fourth and final key topic in moral theory concerns virtue. Virtue is the power for moral action that enables man to act with ease and order in some area of his life. So, in order to see how these 4 topics are of central concern, we will look at them more closely in the context of our topic, which is the existentialist and post-existentialist tradition. If you've ever pondered the meaning of existence or questioned your purpose in life, you have partaken in the existentialist philosophy. It would be quite hard to find someone who hasn't asked themselves the big questions. What is the meaning of life? What is my purpose? Why do I exist? For thousands of years, these questions were happily answered by the belief your purpose in life was assigned prior to your creation. The existentialists, however, disagreed. Existentialism was popularized by Jean-Paul Sartre in the mid-20th century following the horrific events of World War II. The existentialist movement asked, "What if we exist first?" At the time, it was a revolutionary thought. You were created as a blank slate, tabula rasa, and it is up to you to discover your life's purpose or meaning. Existentialism, unlike other fields of philosophy, does not treat the individual as a concept and values individual subjectivity over objectivity. Existentialism emphasizes action, freedom, and decision as fundamental to human existence and is fundamentally opposed to the rationalist tradition and to positivism. Since the existentialists are by choice, not systematic, it is at best difficult to relate their thought to the four basic notions: value, obligation, natural law, and virtue. These topics are at least implicitly relevant to their thought. These topics will be discussed by my groupmates.
Hi, my name is Cyril Cabaron. So this is my reporting today, and I will discuss about what is existentialism value. Unlike the naturalist, Aristotelian, and the Thomist, the existentialist has no elaborate faith either in reason as an exclusive guide or in systematic philosophy as a convenient roadmap to moral choice. The existentialists emphasize man's personal freedom. Man has no previously structured nature that enslaves him to a set range of fulfillments. He is decisive in his own life. He must make his life according to the freedom that is his. The authentic man must commit himself. He cannot give his power of choice away without in a way dehumanizing himself and becoming fraudulent or subhuman. The good life may be a lifetime of freedom and responsibility. The value of a person is his authenticity and commitment. The end in view for a man is to form himself by the character of his choices. And the second is, what is obligation? The existentialists are especially concerned with free character of the human activities and the responsibility of the individual for his own life and actions, as well as for the effect of his decisions on others. They emphasize that the very nature of man is freedom and self-obligation. Man is obligated to form and project himself into authentic existing by his moral action. Thus Kierkegaard point out the loneliness and anguish that accompany decision making, and Sartre declares that man is condemned to be free. Marcel insists on our obligation to resist the pressures against freedom that come to modern life through the leveling and dehumanizing qualities of contemporary technology. To mention his can be to mention that a human being is actually a morally good being. The evil in his has internal causes that he cannot overcome due to the weakness of will. Human moral obligations are known. The solution is that the essential obligations, which is also positive or negative, like to not unnecessarily harm others, to have respect and dignity for the inherent worth of each being, to not intentionally deceive others, etc., are inherent in attribute and customary to all or any kinsman.
Hi, I'm Crystal and Remulta, and in our presentation, I would like to report on the natural law of existentialist and post-existentialist tradition. And as you can see on the screen, law is primarily an ordination of reason. Existentialism states that our lives have no inherent meaning or purpose, but rather, It is the purpose we create for our lives that gives them a sense of meaning. This meaning is only present in our consciousness. However, the universe doesn't care of what you are doing. Essentialists believe that we can live our lives freely, doing what we enjoy, so far as society allows us. Law is also systematic. Reason and system are both rejected as inadequate for the choices that the essentialists, especially Sartre and Kierkegaard, sees as condemned to make. They acknowledge that there are moral principles and maxims, but they insist that these are all too often in conflict. So, Sartre argues that God is characterized as a creator, but every creation has an intended purpose behind that, but it is determined by its creator. Sartre rejects the notion of God and argues that human beings have no essential nature because they are not the creation of the higher power. For Sartre, humans simply exist and make subjective decisions on how to live their life regardless of any purported universal truths. Humans are tossed into the void of creation with no meaning, no purpose, and no guidance. Our occupation in the nothingness of reality gives individuals absolute freedom to do whatever they choose. Every individual can choose their own meaning of life and become responsible for managing their existence according to the meaning they give themselves. For Kierkegaard revolves around the idea of where individuals find meaning in their life through a leap of faith. Leap of faith is once the person experiences existential crisis, he would completely and without reservation commit himself to God, even if it seems irrational to do so. What matters to him also is a concrete existence. For Kierkegaard, to exist means to strive, to consider alternatives, to choose, to decide, and most of all, to commit. He argued that the quest for truth involves personal choice grounded in religious faith.
So to continue the report, my name is Rodamaire Intong. So they seek to solve each moral problems in terms of concrete situation in which the moral decision must be made. So we have moral laws, or the natural law seeks to solve all problems or all moral problems in concrete or full situation in which they make the most moral decision to address the problem. Then also at times, even the most painstaking examination of the situation will offer no comfort or clear directive for choice. So there are times that we choose to the most, even it's the most painstaking or even the most hard decision to make, we still have to make the most moral decision. So even if there are no comfort or there are no clear directive of the choice, so we have to make the most moral decision.
So the last key topic of the existentialist and post-existentialist tradition is virtue. So according to Kierkegaard, he would rather be remembered as an individual rather than simply another zero man in the crowd. A key human excellence for the existentialist is authenticity or integrity. According to Kierkegaard, rather than searching for the truth with a capital T, it is more important to find the kind of truths that are meaningful to the individual's life. It is important to find the truth for me. And a related virtue is that of responsibility. We are urged to be honest in facing choices in life as well as the consequences they bring. Above all, we are not to deceive ourselves and close our eyes to situations in which we are morally involved. And that is all for our group's reporting about the existentialist and post-existentialist tradition. Thanks for watching.